First, I'm going to tell you all that you are very lucky because it is 9 a.m. and I am wearing high heels. I don't do this for just anyone. And you're gonna hold this. That's gonna be your job, okay? I feel like you can do it. Okay, hi, so my name's Virginia. Hi, Virginia.
Hi, Virginia.
There you go. So first off, has anyone ever been to a burlesque show? Oh, there's a few of you. Hey. He raised his hand, his wife looked at him like, what? I assume that's your wife. That's presumptuous of me. She could be your mistress, I don't know. I don't judge. So raise your hand if you have not been to a burlesque show ever. Okay, I like virgins, that's good. Raise your hand if you saw a really cheesy movie about burlesque that involves Cher. I'm feeling pretty positive towards you guys, so I'm not going to make you get up and leave just because of that. On another day, I might have. So anyway, burlesque is, let's see, first of all, I discovered that men's jackets have lots of pockets, ladies. Pockets in jackets. Also, Krispy Kreme donuts. Thank you for that, Taylor. They're my favorite. And I was eating one and just thought, man, this is going to mess up my lipstick. And my friend said to me, that's kind of like sex. You're willing to do it, even though it'll mess up your lipstick. And I thought that was appropriate. So, what is burlesque? Google says that it's an absurd or comically exaggerated imitation of something, especially in literary or dramatic work. A parody. Sort of. That's sort of. My definition, it is overt sexuality plus a willingness to make a fool of oneself, resulting in my favorite thing, which is sexy funny. I don't know if anyone agrees with me on that, but it's my favorite kind. So everyone got a little question on their thing. Would anyone like to share how they feel about public nudity? I will pick you at random if you don't raise your hand. No one is safe. No one's going to raise their hand. Oh, there you are.
Okay, in high school, we had New Beach, and so the big talk was, okay, this is great. This is one of the greatest things ever.
Stop. Where did you go to high school? Go ahead.
So we eventually worked up the energy to get over there, and it wasn't what everybody expected. But the idea of it was just so cool.
Enticing, the idea of it, but then in reality, everybody's a little floppier than you expect. Yeah. Anybody else have a reaction to public? Yeah?
I personally don't have any issues with it. I mean, there's a video of me on Facebook streaking in front of a Harris Theater.
And your Facebook page?
We'll talk about that later. But I understand that there's also a stigma that surrounds it. So for other people's comfort, you kind of have to hide it. But I enjoy it.
He enjoys it. All right. Well, public nudity. Does anyone feel different if the nudity is male or female? Think about it. You don't have to answer right now. Think about it as we're moving on. Do you feel differently about it if it's a woman who is naked or partially naked, or if it's a man? Okay. There's going to be a test later. So. All right. First, I need you to understand how humor functions. This is important. For your lives, not just in talking about sex. And I swear to you, sex and humor, it's going to make total sense. It's all going to come together, okay? So there's 3 theories about how humor functions. The first is the relief theory. that there's a buildup of tension. Tension is created by a situation, and then you are given an opportunity to release that tension, and you laugh because of the break in tension. I'm sure some of you have experienced that when you feel embarrassed, or you have to get up in front of high school or a group of people that you've never seen before, and you feel real tense, and then you kind of giggle about it. Yeah, it's that. I don't know what that's like. The second theory is incongruity. Is just when something unexpected happens. The context is familiar, and then something that you don't expect happens, and you laugh about it. The third is the really not nice kind. It's the superiority theory, that you are laughing at someone's mistakes, their blunders, their failures. They fall on their face, and you didn't. So you laugh because you are superior, and you are going to, you're ridiculing, I guess, a little bit. It's not nice, but everyone does it. So all three of these play a part in burlesque. Burlesque is overtly sexual, as I'm about to show you. Maybe. Oh, mystical. I like that. It is mystical. Oh, look. That's not really what I was getting at. Okay, so overtly sexual. There's a lot of ass involved in burlesque. I'm pretty sure there are some people that in our troupe that I introduce by their name, and then their ass gets a whole separate introduction. And it's different than stripping. It is stripping. The stripping is involved. But what you see at a burlesque show is going to be different than what you experience at a strip club. Who's been to a strip club before? You don't have to answer if you don't want to. Yeah. You guys are my favorite. It's different. If you've never been, a strip club, what you see is for your benefit. It's purely titillation. It's not expressive on the part of the performer. It's purely to titillate. It's purely to raise a response, so to speak. At a burlesque show, it's really not all about you. I mean, we're glad you're there, but that's not really what it's about. We want to entertain you, but we also want to make you think about stuff, and we do it all through the magic of nudity. People have short attention spans, So yeah, see if you can figure it out. Anybody? It's a hoe. It's a bag. There you go. So what you're looking at is comedic. We parody popular culture. You're looking at Sweeney Todd, a love story. We parody popular sports. This was, I think, when the Summer Olympics were happening, and we decided that we wanted to be synchronized swimmers. And, oh yes, this is Joe Boobs as Godzilla. This is sexy to me, because I'm a nerd. It's sexy to everyone because she's hot. But it's also empowering to be Godzilla, so combination of things. These are the stage door Johnnies, something for the ladies. These are the stage door Johnnies. As you can see, sure, they're sexy, but also hilarious, which is, my favorite combination. Russell Bruner, I bet you didn't know you could do that if you try. Multi-purpose. Multi-purpose. Burlesque allows women and men, as it turns out, to be revered for their cleverness instead of condemned for stepping outside dictates of patriarchy. That's the idea, is that our bodies are ours to show who we want, to express what we want with it, and to feel beautiful despite our size, despite our body shape, despite our making a fool of ourselves and being a little silly, that still underlying that we're all human. It's a unifying kind of thing, and that sex belongs to you, and it's not for sale. Hence the difference between strip club, burlesque club. This swing is amazing. This is Lola Van Ella. She's also amazing. This is the Schlepp sisters, who are hilarious. I couldn't find a picture of their Ghostbusters number. I feel you would have enjoyed that immensely. This is the world famous Bob. She identifies as neither male nor female. She tends to call herself a female impersonator. So I think that means that she's making herself a caricature of what we think of as female sexuality, as femininity, as what is sexy about a woman. She's caricaturizing that and going, shall we say, over the top. Trixie Little and the evil hate monkey. Yeah, that's right. He's a monkey. They actually have a show that's happening in New York right now that's about, it's called Beauty and the Beast. It features these two lovely people and a few others. And it's about a real-life love story between Julie Atlas Muse, who's a burlesque performer, and her sideshow fiance, who is a little person and also has a birth defect that causes him to have really short, non-functioning arms. This was a big uproar. There was a lot of negative things said about this relationship, in YouTube comments and so forth. So they responded by putting on a burlesque show about it that shows that, hey, we are both very sexy people. We're both legitimately attracted to each other, and we're in love, and that's a beautiful thing. So Sammy Tramp, who identifies as neither male nor female, and pays homage, of course, to Charlie Chaplin. I think that's all the things. So just giving you an idea of what burlesque looks like. It looks like a lot of things. But at the root of it is that we're all sexual beings and that we can use that to tell a story, to get people to think about something and not to just sell it to them as titillation. Am I making sense? Okay. All right. So does anyone have anything to say about public nudity, male versus female? Does it feel different? That guy who I've never
You
seen.
mentioned nudity or partial nudity. To me, there's a certain line there. Is men that are bottomless only wearing shirts doesn't work. I've been out to Burning Man and shirt cockers. It's like other combinations, males and females. It doesn't bother me with that one. It's just
No bottomless men. You just take it all off. If you're taking it off, just take it all off. Well, I think that is something, though, is that, okay, naked man, sexy, put a shirt on him, and now he's just looks silly. Now you just look like you're 5 and you forgot to put your underwear on, and you're like trying to get the cereal out of the cabinet. That's what you look like, and that's kind of what we're trying. That is actually what we're looking for in burlesque. Now, I say that there is classic burlesque, which is seeking to be extreme beauty, like. You've never seen so many rhinestones, like every move is sensual. There's that. But then there's neo-burlesque, which is more what I'm talking about, which is seeking to tell a story and to get you to have a reaction. And if you have the 5-year-old naked bottom reaction, that's great, because you're not just a serious sexual being. You are, sometimes you're ridiculous. Sometimes you're weak. Sometimes you're angry. Sometimes you're sometimes you're dominating. Sometimes you're submissive. These are all things that make up all of us. So we're trying to express those things, and that they're all equally valid, and that they all have, they all exist within each of us, and it's fun. I would like to see all the people who raised their hands and were like, I've never been to a burlesque show. Well, you came to this. So you should probably go to one of those, because I think you're sympathizers already. You might as well just go all in. So I think, thank you. You did very well, by the way, holding that. So now, perhaps a song that is not at all, maybe a little bit, about sex. Okay? Hey, some of you might know the words, and if you do, you can sing along. I encourage that. We don't have a campfire, but pretend that there is one. Men's coats. I rode my bicycle past your window last night. I roller skated to your door at daylight. It almost seems like you're avoiding me. I'm okay alone, but you got something I need. Well, I got a brand new pair of roller skates. You got a brand new key. I think we should get together and try 'em on to see. Been searching around a while. You got something for me. Well, I got a brand new pair of roller skates. You got a brand new key. Does anybody know what that means? I'll give you 3 guesses. Seriously, does anybody have the roller skates with the key? Is anyone completely confused right now about what that is? No? Oh my God, I'm going to embarrass you. So back in the day, you would have a roller skate, and it was adjustable. It's like a metal thing. It's adjustable. And so to change the size of it, you would have a key, and you would insert it into the hole, and it would turn it, and that would adjust. Get it? See? Metaphor. Yeah. I ride my bike, I roller skate, don't drive no car. Don't go so fast, but I go pretty far. For somebody who don't drive, I've been all around the world. Some people say I've done all right for a girl. Well, yeah, yeah, yeah. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, yeah, I asked your mother if you were at home. I like you. She said yes, but that you weren't alone. It almost seems like you're avoiding me. I'm okay alone, but you got something I need. Everybody? Well, I got a brand new pair of roller skates. You got a brand new key. I think we should get together and try. You're really bad. Louder, people. There's like a bunch of you. Where were we? I got a brand new pair of roller skates. You got a brand new key. I think we should get together and try 'em on to see. Been searching around a while. You got something for me. Well, I got a brand new pair of roller skates. You got a brand new key. That's not bad. We'll work on you guys. One more? And then we talk about things. Okay. How about a song that is simultaneously about prohibition and bisexuality? It can be done. Well, my dear Clyde, I fell in love with you, but I have to say that I love Bonnie too. Her mouth is sugar sweet, and I like the way you kiss, but it's Bonnie that can move me with a whisper from her lips. Oh, oh, I don't want to choose. I love my Clyde, and I love my Bonnie too. I also have a Tommy, he is an atomic gun, and when we go out driving, we're shooting for fun. Well, it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and you know what happens when we get to 11. I love my Bonnie, I love my Clyde. If you want to get to heaven, we can take you for a ride. Oh, oh, I don't want to choose. I love my Clyde, and I love my Bonnie too. Oh, oh, I don't want to choose. I love my Clyde, and I love my Bonnie too. Here comes the coppers, it's the end of our run. You shoot, I'll drive, Bonnie get shot dead. We'll take that road, turn left, turn right. We can all kiss when we're out of sight. Oh, oh, I don't want to choose. I love my Clyde, and I love my Bonnie too. Oh, oh, just wouldn't last. If I die here, let my tombstone read these last words I do decree. Oh, oh, I never had to choose. I love my Clyde, and I love my Bonnie too. Oh, oh, I never had to choose. I love my Clyde, and I love my Bonnie too. Oh, oh. So, coming back around, we talked about how we feel about public nudity. We talked about that sexy is funny and vice versa. Funny is sexy. If you think about it, look at Victoria's Secret ads, you know, eyes really wide, mouth slightly parted, all that stuff. It's kind of funny. Look at it from that point of view next time. Thumb through and just think about what she's probably thinking about is, man, I'm hungry. Boy, I had way too much coffee before this shoot. You know, those things are funny. You know, flip through it. It's hilarious. And then alternately, look at something that's not supposed to be sexy. Look at it from that point of view. It ends up being, go home, your man's doing dishes. That's freaking sexy right there. So, and that's what burlesque is all about. Challenging your idea of what is sexy, what isn't, by being a little over the top. We do that. So, questions, comments, stuff you want to talk about? Things you'd like to confess?
Are there burlesque shows in Raleigh?
Of course there are. Of course there are. Yes. Let's see. What's happening? There's a number of troupes in Raleigh. The VaudeVillain Revue is just one. We perform at Motorco Music Hall in Durham. We also use Southland Ballroom. I think the next thing that I know of that's happening is at Southland Ballroom on May 10th. And actually, Russell Bruner, man really well endowed, holding up a hat. He's in that show. He's last year's reigning Mr. Exotic World. So very, very talented dude. And a lot of other really talented dudes and dudettes. May 10th down there. And there's other things. You can like friend me on Facebook and I can tell you where things are happening. Other questions or comments? Surely. You guys are so quiet. It's weird. Yeah.
What was your first burlesque performance experience?
Like that I performed or saw?
That you performed.
That I performed. Oh, what was it? Boy, what was it? So I started, I was a musical theater geek. Shh. Don't tell anybody. And I started Raleigh's chapter of a burlesque life drawing monthly meetup called Dr. Sketchy's Anti-Art School. I don't know if it started in New York. It's actually kind of similar to Creative Mornings and how it's laid out. Molly Crabapple is an illustrator in New York, and she also was a burlesque performer and an art model. And she discovered that she wished that she could take the way she's able to express herself in burlesque and apply it to art modeling through crazy costumes and weird concepts and storytelling and whatever. So that's what Dr. Sketchy's is all about. It's about, we have circus performers, burlesque performers, all kinds of crazy, weird people, and they come and we do a theme. They'll dress as an astronaut, half naked with a helmet, or, you know, whatever. And then people come and draw that because that's fun to do. So I was doing that downtown, and the owner of the bar that we were using for that was like, you know, you have so many great performers, you should like put on a show here. And I was like, okay, I will. And so then we proceeded to put on a series of very bad burlesque shows, from which we learned, you know, one from another, and now we put on a pretty decent burlesque show. So my personal performance, I'm mostly a singer, ukulele player, cabaret type dancer. and pretty much the butt of all jokes within our troupe. So yeah, I don't mind doing that. That is my role. I'm okay with it. Yes? It is. We're actually hunting for a new venue to do that in, with better lighting and seats that people could like sit in and stuff. Just saying. But yeah, it is. It is still a thing. Like I said, friend me on Facebook or whatever, Twitter. I don't really tweet. I have it, but I don't really understand how it works. But I will if you force me to. Other things that you want to say about? Yes.
So when whoever was asked about your first show, you said the first one you performed or the first one you saw? So why don't you tell us about the first one you saw?
Oh, the first one I saw. The first one I saw was really, really terrible. I mean, it was bad, real bad. It was a local show. I had heard of burlesque. I had seen still images, and thought, oh, that's cool. It's very theater-like, and I like that. And then I went to a burlesque show and was like, what? I don't get it. And I'm a little bit of a stickler about something just being like taking the strip club and just calling it burlesque. And it was pretty much that. But I became inspired. I was like, I could do this and it could be funny and sexy and better than this. And so
You did.
that, and so I hope that's the we hope that that's what we did. Other things? Yes.
I was just interested to hear your thoughts on male versus female nudity and humor, because I think that male nudity largely is considered more humorous.
Oh, it's way funnier.
You know? Sorry, guys. A female performer who's removing her clothing.
Well, that is actually, I'm glad you brought that up, because even though burlesque is largely a female performance, mostly, it's difficult to be allowed to be funny and possess a vagina at the same time. I'm sorry to get all clinical, but it's true. There's a certain social etiquette that says when there's like a dirty joke, women are supposed to like titter and blush and sort of pretend not to totally get it, to like feign some sort of modesty that we might have. And it's the same in the performance world. If you look at Hollywood, you'll see, most women are, if they are leading ladies, they're probably not somebody that you laugh at, generally speaking. My favorites are, and actually there was sort of a golden era of that with like Lucille Ball, Carol Burnett, women who were considered beautiful women who were also really hilarious. Mae West, she's like the model of transgression, but we have to do it in a certain different way, through some wit, some innuendo, some like dancing around it, so that we are kind of allowed to be funny and not just seen as like, well, she's just a hooker. It's a little bit trickier, and even among burlesque performers, there's a lot of like catfighting about, well, that's not burlesque, that's not funny, that's too funny, it's just comedy, it's just naked comedy, it's not, and there's a lot of that, like even among the performer world, which is silly, but it's there, because a man is privileged in that you're expected to be funny, witty, whatever, you're given that permission historically. Things are kind of shifting, But that is, like, I'm glad that you brought that up because it's a big thing. And if you don't strip, burlesque originally started in the late 1800s in Europe, and then it kind of traveled over here. And it started as, it was parody. It was mostly political satire, or they would parody literary works that were popular at the time, or plays that were happening, simultaneously, and they'd parody those and get in big trouble. But there was no striptease originally. So those of us, myself, and there's a couple other in our troupe, who are burlesque performers who do not have a striptease, have a hard time finding a venue for what we do because not that many people want to see a woman just be a goofball unless she's also naked. I'm not going to say that's totally wrong, but but it's something that we battle with, and it's very gray. There's no black and white answer to what is appropriate, but it boils down to women having to maneuver a little more to be allowed to do both, I guess. And penises are funny. They just are. Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about gender identity in burlesque? I mean, I know it's a place to play with that, yes, to a point, but then you get naked, and
you do.
But I know that for a lot of people, just because of what your body looks like doesn't mean that's how you identify. And how does burlesque play with gender identity with and without clothes, and how do you communicate complexity of that once you're naked?
I know a lot of performers who are gender ambiguous or identify with the opposite gender that they were born as or whatever, and they sort of handle it on an individual basis. A lot of what I've seen is either in drag sometimes, in false drag, like the world famous Bob, and she's really interesting because she doesn't identify as female, but she caricatures her own born gender, which is like a whole nother level. It gets pretty deep. And then there are male performers who identify as female who perform as female with a penis, and it's just there. And for the most part in burlesque, it's a very accepting world as far as that goes. If you come, and pretty much because you're on a stage, you can get on that stage and say, I am Godzilla, and for the 3 minutes of that song, Godzilla you shall be. And that's just how that works. If I want to get on stage and say, I am Clark Gable for this 3 minutes, then I will be Clark Gable. It does not matter if I have the required parts. That is pretty much how we handle it. Make it a good one. Yes.
So you're talking about the caricatures that you do. So how does that affect your daily life, or your daily life affect that? How do you go back and forth?
It is tricky. It helps if you have multiple personalities. In my daily life, I teach preschool. Yeah. And scene. And I mean, I say a certain type of person, but really everybody. You're kind of, when you get up in the morning, you're putting on who you are today. And we do it sort of literally. I feel very sparkly today. That's what I'm going to do. I think different people handle it different ways. For me, it sort of blends together. I am pretty much this with less curse words all the time. But then other people are very different. I know performers who are unrecognizable, both physically and as far as their personality goes. What they do on stage is not who they are, as a human. But it's something that's in them, So I guess that's what it is. We're all a little schizo. I think that's what it was. Yeah.
Who do you most admire?
Who do I most admire? Wait, what do you mean? Dead or, oh my God. Dead or alive? Jesus. No, that's not who. That's not actually who, but that would have been good. Gosh. Well, I guess Mae West would be up there. That's a really hard question for me to answer, but I would say Mae West would probably be way up there on that list. Someone who is irreverent, subversive, basically who does not give a fuck. Not one single one. But in that attitude, empowered a whole lot of not just women, but people, to be who they are and to be unabashed about what they have to say to the world, and I think that that's a really great thing. Yeah.
Can I ask one quick question? How do your student parents feel about you being a burlesque dancer? When did they find that out?
Actually, I try to keep it kind of, to myself, but those who do know actually love it. I've had parents who are like, "Oh my God, I do stand-up comedy. Can I come and be in your show?" It's pretty. They're pretty inviting. It's not like I'm gonna put your child in pasties and a thong. Like parents are weird, yeah, but for the most part, I think people are pretty accepting. I hate to say that Cher and Christina Aguilera have helped in some way, but at least to get the word burlesque and people to have some sort of understanding of what it is. So yeah, I haven't been fired yet, so that's good.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, Virginia.